And as far as these spawns go for us, it is MarineLorD in the southern side on the Abbasid, and he is in the teal. And on the other side, we have Beasty as the English in the color yellow.
Exactly. All right, let's see. Let's see what we're going to be playing with.
The Vanguard Men-at-Arms.
There we go. But the gold is very far in the back for MarineLorD. Same for Beasty. So these Men-at-Arms are going to have to walk for quite a distance if they want to make it to their end goal here.
Yeah, quite a distance, and it might actually even be hard to like kind of cut through where his scout is now, like through the wood line. You're gonna be kind of close to the TC. I guess you can kind of just tuck up right on next to it, but still a lot of extra walking time, and you don't want to cut that corner a little too short, or else your Men-at-Arms is gonna take extra damage that's unneeded.
Exactly. So it's going to be very, very difficult to also micro your Men-at-Arms, make sure that they're getting the most value that they can. Now, Beasty went very far forward with his scout early on. He got a good amount of sheep from MarineLorD's side from the look of things.
Yeah, and it looks like MarineLorD's scout is actually circling back right where Beasty is and only found one single sheep. So really happy about this early game pull as far as the sheep pull goes for Beasty.
Yeah, looking good for him so far. Now, MarineLorD is right in front of his scout, so all the sheep that's going to be collected on the way back should probably go the way of MarineLorD. And looks like MarineLorD is going to be having enough gold here to age up with. He does now spot the Men-at-Arms, immediately pulls that villager back onto food that he just sent out. And is just going to be gathering just enough gold. Actually sends him forward again.
He just needs one more full drop-off, and he's good to go. The question is he going to try to get enough for an additional upgrade of some sort? Oh, Beasty stepping in, chasing that Vill a little too much, and it looks like he just pulls off, isn't going to be able to do so. So, good, I guess, success here by the first Men-at-Arms, as no additional upgrades are going to be able to come through that he wants.
Yeah, so isn't going to be able to afford upgrades like the wheelbarrow early on, no fresh foodstuffs, and it's also going to be struggling to get upgrades like the, what was it, Crescent? Fresh Crescent?
Fertile Crescent.
Fertile Crescent.
Yeah,
but he's still going to go for the economic ring from the looks of it, and yeah, we'll just have to go back out onto gold at some point here. He's going to be getting some sheep over here, and didn't look too good for him overall when it comes to the sheep haul, but should hopefully still find some on the right side of the map here from his base.
Yeah, I feel like that scout has been circling around for a while, and just now we saw him pick up 2 extra sheep, so not really too successful on his scouting journey. A couple of the Vills move out to the berries because there are no sheep under MarineLorD's town center. And
yeah, going for the berries is still fine. I mean, with the Abbasid especially, but now we hear a couple more of these bells coming in, so he has found sheep. Now he's got 6 more sheep trailing that scout.
Yeah, a few more, but this usually does change up your build order a little bit potentially, as, you know, that's extra wood that's on the mill, and he doesn't want the mill there if he doesn't have the gold for the early wheelbarrow. Could have been an extra 50 wood that's quicker for a TC if that's his play.
Yeah, now Beasty is going to be aging up here with the council hall. No surprises here. Still has 2 villagers in gold. With that 2 villagers, should be able to afford a really, really quick double broad axe as well. Looking really good macro-wise so far from Beasty, as we would expect from him.
Yeah, and I love how he only invested into 1 single Men-at-Arms. I find a lot of people like overdo this. They'll like get a little bit of damage. They're like, oh, I'm going to make another. And then they'll make another. And then it's like, well, your first one did enough. It caused the reaction. And your second one now is just helping burn a mining camp. So what's Beasty do? He only makes the 1. He gets the delay, gets the annoyance, and does the job that he needs.
Yeah, now what is MarineLorD going to do? I think he could probably immediately go for a stable and just get 1 horseman out. Oh, Beasty, he's gonna do the thing. He'll do the thing, and yeah, MarineLorD's just gonna have to watch that happen right now. Actually dropping archery range and stable immediately here from MarineLorD. Looks like he wants to immediately mess up units, so maybe this is just something that he wants to get up anyways and just wants to get into the golden age as soon as possible.
Will we potentially see a 1 TC ABBA play here?
With the economic wing? Nah, right? That can't be. Not from MarineLorD. He would rather go trade wing instead.
Yeah, oh, you know he would. I was just, you know, throwing something out there just for some jest to it. But Beasty's still just using the scout to spread the deer further and further out. Yeah, TC can be dropped in the middle of those, but your villagers won't be gathering efficiently.
Yeah, this is really annoying when something like this happens, and I mean, you don't want to drop a mill for every single deer, right? But if you don't, it means that your villagers are gonna have a lot of walking time ahead of them.
Yeah, it almost like these deer now have turned into like a couple of those like small deer packs that spawn together. It's like, oh look, I had a couple of these like 3 packs kind of spawn near each other. It's like not really a fun sort because dropping mills on those always it's like a huge feels bad for me as well. But MarineLorD resecures his base. He has that military. He still has a few more archers in queue as well.
It's got a camel archer out on the map right now as well, probably just to take care of that 1 minute arm. Yeah, there it is. It's in the bottom of his base, looking for that man arm. I think he just now found it. And yeah, man arm is gonna be going down.
Yeah, it takes a good bit of shots there, but Beasty, he's just going to try to get as much damage as possible before it loses its life. And in reality, it's just going to lose its life here.
Yeah, finally the annoyance has been dealt with there for MarineLorD, and only needs a little bit more gold now for the further crescent, as you said earlier, and then he'll be able to make his way to that second TC as he ideally wants to with the Abbasid.
Yeah, but for now, he's just massing up units. It's horsemen and archers, and this is like that perfect counter composition to the typical English mass. English, they're going to go spear longbows, and you're going to have that cavalry mass to dive the longbows, and then the ranged mass to snipe out any spears.
Yeah, it just becomes difficult as long as the game stays in feudal age, because at one point, Beasty with the English is going to be able to mix in some more men-at-arms, and then it becomes really difficult because you can't really go for these camel archers to deal with them. The camel archers are going to be dealt with by the longbowmen. And the men-at-arms, they do really well against both the horsemen and the archers.
So let's see if these mobile units are just going to circle around, maybe pick off some reinforcing units that are struggling thin. And Beasty, though, he has his scout moving out at the perfect time, spots out that little smaller mass, and isn't quite able to get that one longbow back home in time, but at least gets a little bit of return damage for it.
Yeah, Beasty focusing on the scout there. If the scout goes down, these horsemen are going to be walking around a little bit blind. Does now have to fall back. Can't just risk his reinforcements being sniped all the time. And MarineLorD still has a really, really good army in his own base. Beasty once again trying to push out now. But this has delayed the push a little bit so far. Now MarineLorD is going to be moving out with villagers onto that stone line.
Yeah, long time for him to move out to stone. I definitely expected it to come out a little earlier, but he wanted to make sure to have enough of a mass here ready and available just in case. And I love how he doesn't bring his archers out. He's kind of keeping them hidden and keeping them as this shock value, because once those archers come out, if you just clean the floor with Beasty's army, it's game over. And he just saw where Beasty's scout was.
It's just going to be patrolling around here, making sure that there's not going to be too many reinforcements coming out. He still has a great archer count, but MarineLorD, I mean, Beasty, he does have the longbowmen. Now going to be moving on towards the wood line. He's getting his first villager kill. Second one as well.
Two solid pickups there by Beasty as far as those vills go, and now starts to fall back away with this army. After seeing that archer mass, I think he realizes he doesn't have the composition to take this, and this is where MarineLorD, perfect timing here, overstep Beasty Cutie and takes down all of this military mass and basically loses nothing.
Yeah, Beasty just lost his entire military mass, and this is what you don't want to happen with the English. Losing your entire forward military mass. He just overstepped a little bit too far. He couldn't send out his reinforcements because of the danger of the reinforcements being picked off. Feral Crescent now coming in here for MarineLorD is going to be able to drop his second TC right about now at this point in time. And yeah, Beasty is looking really far away from aging up, and Town Center goes up on the stone, could potentially open up MarineLorD for a third TC even.
Yeah, especially with how much aggression's about to come down. You can tell Beasty knows it's coming. He's trying to get some quick walls in, trying to make sure that aggression isn't able to come down. Horsemen circling around, archers are coming around with it, and Beasty, he's got a lot to worry about. He does have longbows to snipe out horsemen as they try to burn down this wall. But behind this, MarineLorD just gets to boom up and now kind of just goes untouched.
Yeah, this is a fake aggression. MarineLorD, he's not investing into any blacksmith upgrades. Meanwhile, Beasty is getting his third blacksmith upgrades at the same time. Beasty definitely wanted to play this in a little bit more for a feudal age kind of matchup, but getting caught out early means that now he doesn't have too much information about what MarineLorD is doing. I'm not even sure if he saw the second TC there. Maybe his scout managed to path around back again, see that there was a second TC. MarineLorD's going to be able to see that Beasty is now going for a farm transition of his own, doesn't have any more access to deer, or rather he's not going to the deer. It's just going to be making his farms with the English, which are quite a bit cheaper than for other civilizations, but this gives MarineLorD a timing to just potentially go for 30C and then even hit a comparable castle age timing.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he is back on that stone, at least from what I can tell by the mini-map. Just kind of transitioning harder as I say that. He moves back to the stone. Cool. Cool. He is going for the 30C.
Alright, yeah, 30C is going to be coming in, and Beasty, he's now dropping an outpost on his gold mine, wants to make sure that that's not getting hit anytime soon by any of these raids, because he did see the horsemen just circling around his base for so long, and looks like now he's just going to be massing up his units again and going to be trying to go for another push. Now, MarineLorD, at the same time, he's massing up archers again, and now he's getting the blacksmith upgrades at a perfect timing for himself.
Yeah, it really does need these blacksmith upgrades, especially going in against 20 longbows on the other side. Your horsemen start to not really seem like horsemen anymore when that longbow number starts climbing.
Yeah, preemptively also pulls the villagers away, adds a second archery range, knows that he needs a little bit more production now at this point in time. And 30C, not sure if he's just going to delay it, now walling back the side of the map there. Could go for the 30C on his own goal just to secure that back part of his base.
And Beasty, he's got the, military numbers on either side are equivalent. Beasty has a few more of the military upgrades, but MarineLorD, he has the second TC working for him now and about to be third, so he wants this to just kind of continue to extend.
Is he missing 3 stone? I think it's 266, or is it
262?
262, okay, so he does have enough stone for that second TC. All looking good for him. And yeah, Beasty just not quite sure where he can get any damage in right now. Looks like he's now decided to macro towards Castle Age.
Yeah, and I think that's the right decision for him. At least he'll be able to drop a secondary TC for himself. He can maybe take his this vulnerability in the food timing away because he has all his farms, and MarineLorD, he obviously isn't transitioning to farms. Fertile Crescent makes that transition a little easier, and oh no, look at those deer.
Yeah, this TC is a little bit in no man's land right now, not really getting any, not too many deer right under it. Oscillate bound to be coming in here now for BC. He's also adding in some men-at-arms, so this could be a really fast men-at-arms timing push as soon as he gets to next age, but military force is covered here now by MarineLorD, and he does currently have the superior archer numbers. Beasty just can't engage too quickly here.
Yeah, you can see how Beasty just doesn't really know when to push up or fall back. He's trying to, he has the information he needs, but he doesn't know what he can and can't do after having such a big loss early on.
As soon as he's able to get to the next age, I mean, with the council hall, when you click the upgrade, your units are going to be upgraded really fast because the double production from the council hall now also extends towards the upgrades. With one of the recent changes, so now it's just an archer range that has 100% faster production speed, so archer upgrade also coming in really quickly, and oh, we see the palings being deployed even with the units walking away.
Yeah, they're still hanging out there in the middle of the ground over there, and MarineLorD kind of just testing the waters here. He sees Beasty reach his castle, and obviously it's going to be a lot of time before Abba can hit castle, as once you click it, it takes 1:45. So will Beasty try to do a timing push here with some men-at-arms?
Most likely. I mean, MarineLorD is also forward right now on the barriers. Does have an outpost there, but that's still very much rangeable by the archers. And now we can see Armorclad coming in immediately. Veterancy being researched as well for Beasty on those longbows. So those upgrades coming in really quickly. Now Veterancy has reached. MarineLorD still has a really good archer lead. And with the critical mass, he is going to be able to one-shot the archers from Beasty as well. does also have a good amount of horsemen still, and the spearmen from Beasty, they're still in hardened upgrade. They're still not veterancy.
Yeah, the problem gets is if you accidentally start hitting some of these men-at-arms, they're just so tanky once they get that armor chat upgrade. But time is still of the essence, as there's 1 minute and 5 seconds left for Military Wing to finish, and MarineLorD just wants to continue to keep this delayed as long as possible. He needs to get some more units out that are Castle Age prowess.
Golden Age Tier 2 also coming in at a crucial moment. With Golden Age Tier 2, as soon as MarineLorD gets up to the next age, he's going to be able to research his upgrades quite a bit faster than he would have only with Golden Age 1. And especially when a timing push is just about to happen in front of your base, that becomes really critical. And at the same time, though, Beasty is getting so many upgrades on his men-at-arms. Also, Pierce Armor level 2 just about to come in. These men-at-arms are going to be having 8 Pierce Armor here in the Castle Age, and with 8 Pierce Armor, even fully upgraded archers are only going to be doing a single hit point of damage here to them.
Yeah, and you can see how fast he just took down that outpost up on the front side. I mentioned it with this timing push for Beasty. If he can utilize that food transition that MarineLorD's going to need to do. He denied the berries, he went and kind of focused a little bit on the deer, and that's exactly what he's doing. There's a few farms that have been dropped by MarineLorD, but he needs a lot more than just a few.
And now, this is the timing that Beasty wants to push in. MarineLorD, he still has to wait a little bit until his upgrade's complete, so he's just gonna have to give up this position for now. Villagers are gonna have to evacuate, but Beasty might be diving in a little bit too deep here right now. Archers still have critical mass here for him, and yeah, the archers from Beasty are gonna get picked off.
There's only 2 spears left for Beasty. Now no spears, 1 spear left for Beasty. So every single necessary unit to keep the longbow mass alive gets taken out. So the horsemen pounce on it, and they don't even care about their upgrades. They are the correct counter unit there. So perfect diving fight by MarineLorD yet again.
Yeah, but at the same time, the men-at-arms, they're still too tanky here. There are 21 out them on the field, even more coming in right now. They're also idling out that third TC right now from MarineLorD. We can see he's got 18 idle villagers right now, and that's just a lot right now for him. And MarineLorD, he's getting composite bows, but his archers are still only doing a single point of damage here with every single attack to these men-at-arms. Now, obviously, if they shoot faster, they're gonna get in more hits over time. But he's definitely going to need crossbows, and he's adding them right now.
Yeah, 6 crossbows in queue, but they cannot come out fast enough right now. He needs them so bad. He's trying to kite down some of these units coming in, but the next set of reinforcements come through. The men-at-arms, you see villagers just being the frontline tanks. MarineLorD's only up 10 vills right now after having 3 TCs for all this time.
I think MarineLorD also needs at least a single knight here right now. Is instead investing into more and more horsemen as well. And he is going to be able to pick up all of these archers with his own archers, so this is good for him overall, since Beasty did still invest into longbows for the time being here. And the crossbow mass just really needs to climb quickly here for MarineLorD in order to push this back.
Yeah, the problem with the crossbow mass and climbing is how well the longbows do at sniping those down. But MarineLorD just took down every single longbow that Beasty had fielded. So MarineLorD again winning a necessary fight that he needed to, and held somewhat okay as he's still at a 10 vill count lead.
Yeah, so it looks like MarineLorD was able to hold here. Economy looking good for him as well. He is now transitioning into farms. Now, for other civilizations, these would also be full cost, but with the new update, with the Abbasid Dynasty, with the Fertile Crescent, they're also getting a discount on their farms similar to the English. So looking good in that regard for MarineLorD here right now.
Yep, and last couple of these men-at-arms have somewhat been cleared out. There's still 22 out there for Beasty, but I believe that's kind of massed up near his base rather than split through all of MarineLorD's eco.
And now behind all of this though, Beasty, he was able to secure most of the relics, now sitting on 4 out of the 5 relics on this map. He is still carrying 2 back. Did also get one of the sacred sites. The last relic is firmly in the hand of MarineLorD in his base, so that's probably not going to be going the way of Beasty here, but MarineLorD is still in a difficult position here. These men-at-arm rates are really annoying for him right now, and Beasty overall, he got so much damage in, 18 villagers killed. MarineLorD right now, he could have almost been at like 120 villagers right now.
Yeah, it was just such a good job by Beasty prioritizing the few upgrades that he needed right when he hit castle. He got armor Chad, he got second pierce armor, and then that's where these men-at-arms proved so effective. Now this is starting to fall off a little bit just because of the crossbow numbers starting to climb on up, but he is pushing forward, and Beasty, he wants to take down this third TC.
Yeah, but looks like he knows that he can't really go out that far quite yet. Now, Beasty is doing a really, really nice job here of just splitting his army into groups, and now these men-at-arms groups are always just big enough that you can't ignore them, or at least not, you can't like send too little units there. Now at this point, MarineLorD, he sends horsemen out to kill them, but horsemen do pretty much no damage at all to them due to the armor-clad upgrade, and Beasty, he also has the +1 melee damage, melee armor upgrade on them, so these men-at-arms, they have +7 melee armor right now.
Yeah, Horseman's one of those units that are effective against them when they're Vanguard men-at-arms or even, you know, just the non-Castle Age Armor Chad men-at-arms. They're a lot more effective, but once they get a couple of those upgrades in, then Horseman basically worthless.
MarineLorD now has his first mangonel out on the field. It's gonna be really important how this next fight is gonna go.
Yeah, and it looks like a couple of these units are splitting off on where they want to be. Men-at-arms probably just going to go run and dive towards where that mangonel is, as the crossbow mass doesn't look like it's that far over there. Horsemen getting closer to these longbows, and Beasty moving forward to take the berries on the other side. Mangonel is getting focused down, but is it going to be enough villagers there to heal it on up? And the reinforcements for MarineLorD are pushing on forward now.
Sacred Victory approaching at the same time now for Beasty. Is looking like he's going to be repelled here for the time being. More and more crossbows being made now for MarineLorD as he does need them. He's investing a lot of resource into keeping that mangonel alive, but there's not too many crossbow longbows out in map right now for Beasty. And once again, though, it seems like Beasty with these men-at-arms was able to kill quite a few villagers now, as the villager count that he's killed right now has risen up to 28.
A 28-0 as far as that Vill count kill goes. That being said, MarineLorD still barely up, and barely is single digits now.
All right, I mean, resource income right now is still looking really good for Beasty. 1,800 food compared to 1,600. Now Mangonel finally gets caught out here. And looks like Beasty has a couple of men-at-arms in the back of the base from MarineLorD, just annoying him to such a great degree here. Right now, I'm still wondering why we're not seeing any knights from MarineLorD out on the field. He does have the gold for it, but you really need knights against these men-at-arms, and you just need a more efficient meat shield right now than just horsemen. Now we see a forward keep drop from Beasty.
Yeah, this is looking like Beasty is ready to call game here. The men-at-arms finding more damage on that forward woodline. MarineLorD, he doesn't have woodlines to go to, so even if he wants to get more archers, he's going to start struggling to produce those archers. And now these men-at-arms just showing how effective they can be even with crossbows out.
And there we go. MarineLorD, he knows with that keep going up in the front, he won't have any more access to gold, and he calls the GG right now.
Yeah, pretty crazy to think about after that first fight that Beasty lost so bad with his military units that he just took it easy, stayed chill, and played the English game, pushed forward with his army at that perfect timing after that Castle Age, and Abba couldn't deal with it.
Yeah, and I think it's like the perfect counter there in that regard as well, the unit composition that Beasty went for, because MarineLorD, he had so many archers out on the field. Now, usually against other men-at-arms, with the upgrades in Castle Age, your archers can still do a good amount of damage to the men-at-arms from your opponent, because normally men-at-arms, they max out at 6 armor, and archers in the Castle Age max out at 9 pierce damage, right? So there's like 3 damage that they can usually do, but with the +2 armor from Armorclad, these men-at-arms only take a single point of damage there with every single attack, and that just makes them so tanky, and MarineLorD, he just wasn't able to deal with that then in the Castle Age.
Yeah, it was just a great job by Beasty. He spotted MarineLorD being a little bit greedy, going 3 TCs. I think if he had stayed 2, this might have been a little bit of a different game just because of the timing difference, but Beasty able to punish that greed a little bit with his game plan, with his strategy. And now let's see how that strategy is going to play out on game number 2. It's Rus versus Chinese on the pit.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope that it's going to be more than 80 Bunty now for MarineLorD. We're going to be seeing his Rus now on the pit. And against the Chinese from Beasty, and I've said it time and time again, Beasty is a really, really good player when it comes to the Chinese. MarineLorD with the Rus, I mean, Rus are just famously really, really strong right now. It's going to be a clash between two really high-rated civilizations at the moment. We saw it earlier in B versus Lucifron, where the push, it was really, really dangerous from Lucifron, maybe came in a little bit too early or just at a wrong point in time when he actually went for it. Could have maybe gone a little bit earlier. I always say that against China, you have to do pressure right from the start, right? You can't just let them get their second TC up in peace. Once they get to that kind of point, if they're unpunished for like the first 10 minutes, they really can get out of control. And here we now see Rus for MarineLorD. Can he make something happen against the Chinese superiority?
Yeah, and this is where Rus is a civilization that's really good at doing that exact thing that you mentioned. Put a little pressure on early, but doing that pressure, it's not like they're giving up their whole economy behind it. They get extra bonuses with the Kremlin, even though it puts on a pressure and aggression with the militia, and they're going to be able to transition into their multi-TCs themselves with the extra wood income as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, multiple TCs, the option for Rus as well here. I'm just wondering how the matchup overall is going to be going. I mean, probably from MarineLorD, what we could see from him is going to be that double hunting cabin opener as well on the pit. Gives you a good bunch of extra gold right from the get-go. Helps you just sustain your night production throughout the games. China, obviously, second TC play from them with Song Dynasty, maybe a Barbican in the middle of the map. Then again, when you play against a civilization like Rus, it really depends on how your map spawns, where you're going to be putting that Barbican, since you will have to kind of defend your resources early on with the danger of knights on the field, and especially with the Kremlins.
Yeah, and this is one of those maps, too, that as the game extends a little bit, you all of a sudden have a huge, massive resource that can be fully denied, which is your wood line. Your whole entire secondary wood line is all in one massive place that you start getting over to that and start getting vulnerable, a night raid could just cause too much damage to recover from. You know, so that there's are always kind of a few things to think about. But China, they usually want that secondary or that first Barbican dropped on their deer spawn or some sort of food eco to extend it out.
Yeah, it's only going to be 2 more minutes until we're going to in our second game of the set here. Beasty right now sitting on match point. MarineLorD, I'm not sure. It's just so far not been his day-to-day, as he's already lost his first set of the day.
Yeah, lost his first set of the day and then now down 0-1. And so coming into the day, he went from undefeated as far as a series goes, losing any series, to now potentially having the opportunity to drop his second set here. But Rus is a civ we have seen him a lot on, and he is comfortable on this, especially with the pit.
Exactly. So this is going to have to be do or die here now for him. If he loses this, he's going to be losing 2-0 for Beasty. Means that he's also going to be relinquishing his #1 spot in the seeding bracket right now. And I mean, this is really kind of the decider game between which player in the group stage is going to be making it onto seed #1 here. I mean, obviously seed #2 is still really good. Both seed #1 and seed #2, they're going to be starting in the playoffs, in the quarterfinals, semifinals, I think it is. Yeah, semifinals. So does mean that they're going to be able to skip out on a lot of these risky games early on. Yeah, it's really, really important, obviously, to keep your top 1 or top 2 spot. And if you're slipping from spot #1 to spot #2, that puts you at the risk of maybe even losing that second spot. And then once you're in the number 3 or number 4 spot, that means that you're going to be having to play these quarterfinals.
Yeah, exactly. And as far as this civilization matchup goes, we saw it one time earlier today, and Rus was able to prove to be the victor here, and just kind of able to. I feel like Rus is a civ right now that is good in a lot of different aspects of their game, whether it's dark, feudal, castle, imperial. They kind of have their strengths everywhere. But let's go ahead, initiate the overlay here, and get on to the potential game decider between Beasty and MarineLorD.
Yeah, after this first amazing game on Dry Arabia by Beasty, what are we going to be seeing this time here from them? I mean, yeah, I mean, the pit offers a lot of different approaches. Obviously, it's very map control heavy. All the golds are relatively far away from your base. And now there we go. Game number 2 about to begin here in the Elite Classic. We start off with MarineLorD in the color blue, playing as the Roost, and on the opposite side of the map, it's going to be Beasty with the Chinese. We already start see MarineLorD right now, opening up with that double hunting cabin play, and Beasty at the same time doing the typical Roost opening, starting off with that supervised mill, dropping off the wood there, and there we go. Double hunting cabin right now from MarineLorD. Let's hope he's getting a little bit more than 80 Bunty this time around.
Yeah, I assume he will. The pit is a map that is plentiful as far as the bounty goes, and already starting to circle around. You can see some deer carcasses already down and picking up a wolf as well.
Yeah, gets that wolf. There's another wolf close to his scout, probably looking first for some additional deer though. His first scout already finds a couple deer yet. There's a wolf and another wolf right next to it, so this looks like it's going to be a good Bunty game for him. And Beasty, he only opted for that single scout opening.
Yeah, that's what we talked about it earlier when we saw this exact matchup, and double scout was the option out of the Chinese with the B versus Lucifron. That being said here, Beasty, he's doing the typical single scout opening and letting MarineLorD secure up a lot of that bounty on this map.
It's a little bit odd. He's not even trying to deny the first bit of deer here. Actually, never mind. He did deny the first pack of deer, but overall, that's going to be a lot of bounty that MarineLorD is going to be able to collect here early on in this game. So his start is going to be looking really good, and he can go for that wheelbarrow right now. He should probably have enough gold income from the remaining hunting cabins and the remaining huntables on the map.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is going to be an easy right around 300 bounty start for MarineLorD, maybe even a little bit higher. I could even go for, like, 315, 325 here, just seeing how much he's been able to pick up.
Yeah, I think once those last bit of deer have been collected, I think MarineLorD will probably end up at roughly like 350, maybe even 360 bounty overall. It's looking really, really good for him. He invested into wheelbarrow and he's already at close to 300 gold, and there's just even more and more wolves on the map for him. He now has to retreat a little bit with those scouts, needs to drop off some sheep next to his TC. Gotta make sure that he's not pulling a core on us here and idling out his town center. And yeah, he's getting a lot of the wolves this time around.
Yeah, and I mean, those wolves, those are the crucial part of the bounty. Obviously, the deer, they're the easy ones because you see them out on the map. But the wolves, they're the juicy ones. 25 bounty a pop. And we've already seen MarineLorD. I think that was the 5th one he's grabbed.
Yeah, overall, really, really good start for him. Now, BC, he already got a good amount of sheep under his mill, so he's going to be quite happy with that. H-up going to be coming in soon for him here. MarineLorD delayed his H-up a little bit. I mean, that's what you usually see when the Roost player goes for like double hunting cabins early on. It's going to take him a little bit to get his H-up going. And Beasty, he's going to go for the Barbican here. And it's going to be a Barbican that's securing his, not only his deer, but potentially also Relic. It looks like it's just going to be protecting the deer, but still a good Barbican position for him.
Yeah, so another wolf picked up here by MarineLorD. So I think that's, again, 6 wolves here for him, as well as all the deer. So very, very happy positioning start. And I'd love to see how much those hunting cabins are gathering.
Yeah, I think they're probably at around 40 each right now when it comes to the gold per minute that they're bringing him in. And there we go. Yeah, 43 on the first and 36 on the second. Not quite sure why it's only 36, but I guess that's just with the wood density being a little bit weird sometimes.
I think there was one tree that made it pop out a little bit further, so it wasn't quite right on the edge of the wood line. It was like a little one tree off, as you can see a little bit there. No, with the second one, but even still, both of those hunting cabins are essentially a relic in the bank for MarineLorD from pre-1 minute.
And right now, MarineLorD is going to be aging up with the Kremlin. Imperial Academy already on its way for Beasty right now, and the base layout so far for Beasty is looking pretty solid. He's got his Imperial Academy on his food, on the wood line. Only his gold is going to be a little bit exposed here. Yeah, there's actually really, really exposed gold. He doesn't have any access to gold that's protected right now.
Yeah, I do like the extension of the Barbican. It really protects the food eco, allows him to drop a little short wall and extend it and kind of get the deer, get his own berries as well. But the gold is going to be the worrisome spot as we see MarineLorD just torching down the mining camp on top of some vills, not giving a second care in the world.
think it's about time for us to do the little game of betting the bounty right now that we like to play so far. Like while these militia are on their way now to BC space. So what is your guess? I'm gonna guess 380 right now.
I'm 330. I'm going 330.
All right, and we're gonna be having 340. So you're pretty much right on the money there.
Yeah, might have been one extra deer that MarineLorD was able to pick on up, but it looks like Beasty just forgets about that mining camp. The militia were on the way, so there was going to be no rebuilding for that. And Beasty, he's got no gold for the foreseeable future, at least for right now.
Yeah, mining camp is getting burned down and also constricts his access to stone right now. He only has that large stone mine in the back of his base. Other than that, he doesn't really have access to any additional stone or minerals right now. No gold, no stone. This could be really tough for him. And now also wood wall is getting destroyed. You can't do that anymore with the starting HP just not being there for wooden palisade walls anymore.
Yeah, and he's trying it again. Scouts moving back to block, and militia jumping in on the wood line to get some idle time. Beasty just surrounds them. He knows better. He knows they're just into range, but the villager on the wall is not having a fun time over there.
Idle time has been caused, but at the same time, Beasty is still pulling ahead in terms of villagers right now. MarineLorD is starting to prepare for that second TC. Song Dynasty just really helping Beasty right now when it comes to the villager mass, and now he's going to be dropping his own barracks just in order to get rid of these pesky scouts that are in the back of his base. But MarineLorD, he still keeps mining more and more stone. This is not going to be a second TC. That's going to be a 3 TC play from him.
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing it more and more often from these Roost players. Beasty, he moves far out on the stone because his initial stone is not safe and secure. It's over near where his gold vein is. So he's planning on the secondary TC play as well, but he's going to be struggling on any of these upgrades, which MarineLorD, he's got every single eco one already.
This is so well played by MarineLorD, actually sending that one scout all the way back into the corner and spotting that Beasty is going for his own second TC. But MarineLorD, he has to be feeling happy about this because his third TC is probably going to be coming in before Beasty is even going to be dropping his second TC. Overall, though, Beasty right now with a 7 villager lead just because of Song Dynasty, looking really good for him right now. I mean, that second TC is going to take a while to pay itself off. Does have a boar right next to it, so that's really good for him. So that's going to put him above the 400 bounty mark for now.
Ooh, that scout in the back of the base that you were talking about gets picked off right as MarineLorD was pulling that boar on over. So a nice little solid pickup there by Beasty. But now Knights are finally starting to roam out on the map now that he's secured the boar and secured that TC location for himself.
Yeah, second TC, not a whole lot of resources needed right now in order to get them up. Also, he's scaling his economy further with these hunting cabins. So with that, it's probably really equal right now, the economy's getting. And wait, is Beasty also going to go for a 3rd TC? No, he just stopped. Okay. For a second, I thought that maybe he would be going for an insane number of TC of his own. And now there are going to be 2 Knights here in the economy from Beasty.
Ooh, and they get an IO. Oh, they pick up the IO and run on through such an expensive, such a high cost unit there that he is able to secure for himself. And where's the stone for Beasty? Oh, there it is. It's in the middle. There it is. It's TC in the middle. Okay.
Yeah, TC in the middle on the gold does mean that he's going to be having safe gold access. So there is nothing really in his way from going up to the castle age. Now 3rd TC coming in for MarineLorD now on the deer, looking good as well. And yeah, overall both players are now going to be just macroing up to the castle age, but MarineLorD with gremlin advantage is going to be pulling a couple of them. It's probably going to be looking to idle that TC in the middle from Beasty a little bit, delay that age up from coming in.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically delayed Beasty off the gold all this time. If he continues to hit him where he has continued to be hurt, it will struggle for him. More villagers being idled out by those militia, and Knights circling back for the woodline again as well.
And just the idle time being caused, and one villager going down now here from Beasty, and another villager going down, and MarineLorD just doing an excellent job here, just minimal investment, and this is what we see from Roost all the time. Them just using the gremlins, just a couple of Knights, and all these attacks from multiple sides are so hard to deal with any other civilization in the game right now.
More stables being dropped for MarineLorD, so wants to keep up a little bit of this pressure that he has in his castle timing. It's coming around here pretty soon, whereas Beasty, he is still struggling to gather that gold.
Beasty now tries to circle around the units here from MarineLorD, but MarineLorD is going to be able to thread the needle and is going to be able to pass with his knights. Once again, going onto the wood line here, and yeah, Beasty once again has to idle his villagers.
Yeah, another 15 vills get idled on out. High trade house being dropped right next to the wood line, so an immediate gold boost for him as well for that. That one's probably like well, he does have a lot of bounty, but that one's probably, you know, the higher 180s, 200 maybe?
I'm gonna guess 153 exactly.
All right, 186.
186, okay. 153 versus 186.
All right, we will find out here in just a little bit. Those knights still circling, about to go for that wood line yet again. Beasty, oh, there and ready with a few more spears. That spear mass is up to 14, so it should be a little bit easier to close on these knights, you would think, but MarineLorD just utilizing that APM perfectly.
Behind this, Beasty is also macroing up to the castle age quite well, so it's not going to be too big of a delay for him now. Mind you, China, they are able to rush up that age up insanely quickly here, and MarineLorD, he's still making knights right now. There's no archers from him to be seen currently. Can we take a look at that high trade house now? Let's see how much gold per minute that one is going to be bringing in. It is going to be 169. Nice.
Nice. Good solid pick up there as far as MarineLorD goes. That's, you know, multiple relics in the bank, and now wouldn't be too surprised to see him at least have 3 relics in his possession here in the next couple minutes either.
Oh, now Ram being dropped by Beasty, and he's still a little bit away from the castle age, just needs a little bit more gold in order to get there. Does now spot out the high trade house from MarineLorD, and MarineLorD, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to hold that high trade house. He's only still making knights, and there's just so many Jugenu and Spearmen out on the field right now. There are some archery ranges that have just been made, but the wood that he needs and the production time is just not there yet, and the Ram is going to be moving forward now.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those just, again, perfect timings by Beasty, pushing forward with his spears, pushing forward with his chooks. The Ram pushes to the high trade house, turns back, does this little bit of kiting, but there are only mainly knights up front, and he leaves the Ram out to take some damage, and a little bit of oversight here by Beasty.
Oh, Ram could be taken down, doesn't commit though, doesn't want to lose these knights yet, and now Astronomical Clock Tower is going to be coming in, but Beasty doesn't quite have the resource to upgrade all of his units. It's going to have to decide which one is he going to want to upgrade first, and it's going to be the Spearmen.
Yeah, definitely would prioritize those Spearmen, especially considering what MarineLorD has out. He is starting to climb on his archer count and that number up there, but will need much more than 5 archers to push away spears.
Oh, the deer right now. The deer villagers from Beasty are a little bit exposed. Knights are going to move towards that, and this could be really, really dangerous losses here for Beasty, as the knights are now clashing onto the villagers from Beasty, and gets 1, gets 2, 3, 4 villager kills.
Yeah, 4 Vil pickups, as well as a couple chooks and a spear before those knights circle on out of there.
Will lose a scout, but still going to be able to move out. Now the high trade house did get destroyed, so is going to be losing out on a bunch of passive gold generation right now. Does have a warrior monk out on the field, so he's going to be able to pick up the relics now. And Beasty's army is still mainly unupgraded, as he's now also getting the Jugenu upgrade, but this kind of puts MarineLorD on a timer now, where he's going to have to do some damage here soon, and he's got his army out on the field. Upgrades on the archers not in yet. Is getting +2 pierce armor though.
Yeah, he is starting to kind of take out this smaller group of spears, delayed the secondary TC from going down with that wooden fortress and a couple Vils that went down with that. Now Beasty's army kind of stuck behind in this wood line in the middle of nowhere, but could get taken out here soon as the militia have been called.
They're just getting fed to the Jugenu though, for now. I mean, they're keeping the army in place for the rest of MarineLorD's army to catch up on. And now the Jugenu are in danger. They're going to get taken down, and I mean, Jugenu are focusing archers, but the mass right now for Beasty, he's going to lose them, and that's going to enable MarineLorD to repair that high trade house and finally start up the deer generation again. High trade house gives you a lot of food access, and that's really worth a lot.
Yeah, and that's one of those that, like, I feel like Beasty knew that this was a throwaway army, but he still could have gotten a lot better trades with what he got. Still fine for Beasty. He's still sitting in an okay position. Walls have come up fully in the north and in the middle, but MarineLorD, he's got the Vil lead and has the military lead for now, with 10 knights being some of that military.
Now walls also coming out from MarineLorD. Third relic being collected. That's going to be a 4-1 when it comes to the relic count, and that's also really important against the Chinese. You never want them to have that 3 relic count, because if they get to Yuan Dynasty and they invest into those pagodas, suddenly they're getting 750 resources per minute just for 3 relics alone, and 750 resources per minute compared to 240 you would normally get, that's a pretty high value right there.
Nesta Bees able to get a decent fire off on those knights. Remember, this is that main gold for Beasty, and if MarineLorD would be able to deny this position, Chinese would be in a struggling situation.
MarineLorD right now looking good when it comes to the income. He's leading in every single regard right now, and Beasty is going to have to do a food transition here relatively soon. The natural resources are going to be running out for him here at some point, and now MarineLorD is investing into siege, and that's going to be preparing for a push soon here.
Yeah, I mean, as far as this situation goes, MarineLorD looking very solid, but we know Beasty, one thing he is known for is siege. And China, they excel with this siege, and Nesta Bees is already out, 3 of them that is, and continue to climb up that number.
Yeah, has to cancel that wooden fortress. Line of sight obviously being really annoying when it gets to these siege battles. Now Beasty is going to be trying to secure the first sacred site here, and looks like MarineLorD is trying to prepare for a raid from the opposite side of the map here.
Yeah, and knights are just waiting behind the wall. Looks like Beasty wants to drop an outpost to give him knowledge if anything comes through that gate, but MarineLorD going to be ready for those Vils in any point in time.
Transition just now happening here from Beasty. Oh, it looks like he wants to drop a keep, and the knights at the perfect point in time. Oh no! All right.
Okay.
Okay.
So those Vils get spared. Beasty should be very happy right now. That could have been just an absolute game over timing by MarineLorD. Instead, it gives him the knowledge that he needs. No Vils go down. Crossbows and some spears circle back around for this knight push, and the knights don't really have anywhere to go.
It's just gonna send a couple of these knights in there and just wants to cause a little bit more idle time, but they are getting picked off relatively quickly here. 1, 2, 3 knights going down. Won't get that villager kill. Now it's just gonna be 3 knights. Nest of Bees firing, taking one more out. Now it's just gonna be 2 knights. Soon only gonna be 1 knight. Did manage to save the majority of his knight count, but at least this is gonna give him information as to where the food economy is gonna be from Beasty.
That was just a huge feels bad for MarineLorD by the end of that. Those Vils are moving out to drop that wall that Beasty wanted. The knights, those are going to circle around Beasty's base just like the 2 knights we saw earlier on for a while.
Looks like Beasty just dropped a massive stone wall now on that eastern side, and means that he's going to be secured there from any future raids from coming in, and this is really important for him to just, with the less mobile army, force these engagements to only come from the sides that he has access and vision to.
Yeah, this also secures up his gold that he was we were worried about for a while just because of that middle positioning. Speaking of middle positioning, MarineLorD has started to climb up his siege mass quite a bit. Not only does he have Trebs, he's got a couple Springolds already.
Looks like the knights in the base from Beasty also did manage to get in a little bit of value here as they're still being chased by the spearmen from Beasty and just giving him the runaround now. Knights on the other side also giving him a little bit of a runaround. Looks like Beasty tried to wall them in, but now the army is going to be there, and crossbows and Shigunu are going to be doing a good amount of damage to them. And now MarineLorD sees that stone wall, knows that he's not going to be able to run away with them. It's just going to throw them into these villagers, try and take as many villagers with him as possible.
Yeah, definitely one of those that you know they're going to go down. You might as well take something with them before they come out. And, ooh, another wooden fortress moving forward. This is allowing MarineLorD to push that siege line up further and further. Although Springles, they're taking a trip.
Yeah, but let's not forget what's forward there. It's going to be Beasty's TC, and if he is able to destroy that town center, that means that the gold is no longer going to be protected. Means that Beasty's probably going to have to drop a panic keep here really, really quickly.
He's got 4 nests of bees there. Easily could fire down on this range mass. Ooh, able to get a smaller grouping of them, but that is where the stealth forest just proves so devastating. Knights finally get cleared up on the backside of Beasty's base, but he has bigger things to worry about now as MarineLorD, he is grouped up in this central point, and he wants to push right down the middle.
Yeah, the second TC is going to be going down now for sure, and at the very least, this means that it's going to be hard for Beasty to replenish any villager losses in this game. Now, Nest of Bees are firing on top of that mangonel. Going to be doing a good bit of damage here. Springles fighting against Springles for now. Oh, Nest of Bees taking down the Springle as well.
Oh, just nested bees proved to be so strong, able to just clean up so much in this fight, and a lot of this mass from MarineLorD was ranged, so he is having to fall back, but also sends a couple of those cavalry units right to those granaries.
Keeps now coming in from both players on these forward golds. It's going to be necessary to secure these 8k large stone gold mines. And yeah, Beasty is going to be dropping his keep right now, but looks like MarineLorD is going to be returning here now. Takes down one of the Nest of Bees and could potentially get a couple of villager kills here. And now we're at a point where it's going to be hard for Beasty to replace, and there's still 2 trebuchets.
Where's Beasty's main army? I see numbers for Beasty, it's just not here. They're chasing those knights on the backside. Mangonel's firing down apart. Villagers still healing up the Springle. And archers just doing the damage that they can, and the keep gets denied.
There's still plenty of stone in the bank though for Beasty, so he can just replace that keep at any one point in time. More horsemen gonna be coming in now. Could be sniping those Nest of Bees that are remaining and the Shuganu, but there's still a lot of these Nest of Bees out there.
Yeah, a ton of Nest of Bees indeed, although MarineLorD, he has a bigger Springle mass that stepped on forward now. Nest of Bees able to fall back to their spears, protect them up a little bit, and both military counts are now below 40.
And it's gonna be tough now for MarineLorD to keep pushing this, as the military for Beasty still looking really solid. Looks like Beasty could soon age up to the Imperial Age.
Yeah, that might be exactly what he is thinking, as Granary Eco has been online for quite some time. This positioning in the middle, though, he is starting to fall back on, and any of these vills that go down from these horsemen going past and raiding through, so much more devastating now that he doesn't have 2 TC Song up. Siege, watch out, Beasty.
Ooh, gets the Springle. Now, these Springles are extra healthy since they're Clock Tower Springles, so they take 3 shots instead of 2 in order to take down. And here we go. It's going to be the Great Wall Gatehouse now from Beasty to protect his food economy, but the horsemen are still going to be going in. And, I mean, once he gets up, what does he have? He still has the gold towards the east side, so that's going to have to bring him over, help him for quite a while here, but this is gonna be open now.
Okay, I don't know. I wonder how long he's been doing that one for. Trebuchet is able to take down the next bits of building. Horsemen still circling, got a good amount of damage still on this backside, and crossbows trying to clear it up, but all that is really needed for that is the good old Great Wall Gatehouse.
Oh, and now the horsemen are going to be running around. He's going to see that there's no villagers on the gold here. Now he has to know that the gold villagers have to be somewhere else, but where is he going? He's going to go towards the woodline right now.
Yeah. Oh, quick wall comes in for BC, though, on that woodline. Does not allow those horsemen to run on through, although it looks like maybe 3 or 4 will get all the way back to that woodline before they get taken down.
Gonna be able to cause at least a little bit of annoyance, and now we see Spasskaya Tower actually going up here for MarineLorD. That's gonna be an interesting one. I would have for sure thought that this was gonna be a not Spasskaya Tower, but more like a
high armory.
A high armory approach from him. But yeah, I guess maybe he knows that he's gonna need some stone walls here, because when you play against the Chinese in the later stages of the game, once he gets to Fire Lancers, you're gonna need stone walls. If you don't have stone walls in that situation, it's going to be very, very tough for the Rus player to secure the economy.
Yeah, so that's where stone walls definitely necessary. So that is where the sacrifice was made of the high armory, and Spasskaya Tower was the necessary choice. A couple more of these wooden fortresses have been dropped in the middle here just to secure up this additional location, and the next keep is on fire, being burnt, but will it be enough as Beasty is starting to push back now?
The Springlets, he was able to supervise the Siege Workshop to get the Springled range upgrade really quickly, and now with the high armory out of the picture, it means that MarineLorD Springlets are only going to be as good as Beasties, and yeah, Siege Cutie is pushing in right now.
Yeah, Archer's trying to fire down on that Spearman mass that's pushing forward. Nestabeast can't push too far forward as the Horseman mass was waiting in the bushes over there on the side for the Spearman to push a little too far forward, and they would have closed in on the siege.
MarineLorD right now has a really, really big gold bank, and now here we go. We do see the stone walls coming in, so on both sides, meaning that he's not going to be harassed by any of these Fire Lancer raids that could be coming in as soon as BC hits the Yuan Dynasty. BC though right now, he doesn't have a ton of gold in the bank, so Yuan Dynasty not coming in anytime soon for him.
Yeah, he's spending a lot of this gold on the upgrades that he's been missing, as I think that's Imperial Palace Guards coming through, as well as some greased axles.
Yeah, so Yuan Dynasty still a little bit away. Now here comes the Imperial Palace, so is going to be getting that Yuan Dynasty soon now. Now Yuan Dynasty doesn't just apply to your infantry or to your military, rather it also applies to all of your villagers. So not just a nice little military boost, but also an economic boost for your villagers. That's why Yuan Dynasty is just probably the best dynasty in the game to have once you have your maximum amount of villagers that you want to have, and also gives him just so much vision over all of these stealth forests.
Yeah, this is going to give him vision throughout all of the middle of the map. The horsemen are diving through again. At this point, MarineLorD doesn't care about the loss if he loses any of these horsemen, as he has plenty of wood and plenty of food to spare.
Yeah, exactly. And now MarineLorD, he could also go into like a mass Streltsy composition. Streltsy just being a really, really good unit in this game. Now here we can see Palace Guards are going to try and get some raids in, but MarineLorD, being the smart fella that he is, he was able to completely wall himself in with these stone walls, and is not going to have to fear any of these raids too much.
Yeah, it does look like there's a stone gate that was over there for BC that was on fire due to the ram, and what a good push up here in the middle by MarineLorD as Beasty was looking away, and all of his Springleds are now at a risk of going down. 2 already taken out, and a 3rd should go down with it at least.
Yeah, really, really good catch here by MarineLorD, but Beasty still retaliating a little bit with his Springles, trading out 1 for 1 there. But now no more Springles on the field at all for Beasty. He's actually transitioning to Rams now of his own.
Yeah, Ram's so hard to deal with just once it comes to this Imperial Age, especially when you're kind of splitting with walls across all the map. MarineLorD starting to fall back, China pushing on forward with that Yuan movement speed, and uh-oh for the siege of Marine... Oh, never mind. Beasty decides it's a little too close and falls on back as well.
And loses one of his Nest of Bees for it as well, so... Nest of Bees numbers being really, really low right now, but more and more Rams are going to be created now. Some of them even Clock Tower Rams. Wondering what Beasty's going to be planning with them.
MarineLorD dropping a keep behind that stone wall on the eastern side, and he's done the same thing as far as his stone walls on the west, but just been fighting all in the middle here now.
Yeah, Streltsy now also in queue for MarineLorD, also adding in some of his own men-at-arms, which is going to be the right choice here. In the end, Palace Guards, they can't really take straight-up fights against normal men-at-arms. Now, they are faster, but they have less armor. And the archers, obviously, with the incendiary arrows, doing a good job against the Palace Guards as well. So the composition here looking really, really good for MarineLorD.
Yeah, Beasty trying to push on both ends here and make this a fight on 3 fronts. However, MarineLorD, with the stone walls, he doesn't have to worry about that for the time being until these Rams batter down the gates.
And now we do see the Fire Lancer switch coming in with those Rams going to be pushing in there. That means that MarineLorD, he might need to quickly drop a 2nd layer of stone walls, but he doesn't have the stone for that. And now the gate is open. The Fire Lancers can be rushing in.
Yep. Rams on top of the keep, but horsemen are arriving for MarineLorD. Gonna try to deal with some of these units, but it's only a few units here right now. But Beasty, wouldn't be too surprised to see him just start having a trickle in on the south side.
Just a couple of units on the western side as well. Eastern side is where most of the action is going on, and it looks like Beasty is moving most of his army now towards that side. Just a couple of rams in the middle to be really annoying, and they can't be left ignored. And now Beasty is actually, he's getting the tech from the university where you get more income for your like different dynasties, but that technology is actually bugged. It doesn't do anything.
We're just gonna act like he doesn't know that. I'm sure he does, but he's probably just clicking a bunch of these upgrades now as he's got plenty of income, trying to burn down rams on either side, pushing in the middle, pushing in the south, and pushing in the north. This is now looking like Beasty is retaking this game, and that doesn't surprise me as Chinese is a late game powerhouse.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the situation where I get tithe bonds when I make pagodas, and they also don't really benefit from tithe bonds as well. But now Beasty is going to just try to flood MarineLorD with that Imperial Palace. That means that he has vision where all the villagers are from MarineLorD, and he's just going to be splitting off his units into different groups just to raid as many villagers here as possible. And now it's going to get really, really tough for MarineLorD to break out of this. He still has a good amount of resources in the bank, but yeah, it's gonna just be tough to react to all of these sides at the same time.
Yeah, and those palace guards are just so fast. They're so hard to deal with when they're split all across the map in your eco. You can't just chase them down with crossbows because they'll get, or Streltsy, because they'll get outmatched. They'll get sprinted on away and still finding damage throughout.
It looks like MarineLorD is now going to be able to stabilize, though. Another push is going to be coming in through the middle, and the middle is still open. That's the only side that MarineLorD doesn't have Stonewall, and it looks like Beasty is just going to be running through with the superior mobility from the Yuan Dynasty. He's just going to be running by all the units here from MarineLorD. No Stonewall in the middle means that there is nothing keeping these units away, and yeah, Beasty is just giving him the runaround. Now, all of these units actually are getting picked off on one side. On the other side, there is going to be that Spasskaya tower. So MarineLorD overall can still hold this. The question is, can he push this back anytime soon?
Yeah, the problem is there's just so much idle time for all these vills. We saw, you know, the Rams taking so much damage from those vills, and there's still vills inside, trying to hide, trying to run away. Meanwhile, Palace Guards, Fire Lancers will continue to stream in.
Looks like MarineLorD is now starting to finally push into the base of Beasty. Beasty doesn't have too much production right now. He's only sitting at 2,800 food per minute. Now with full granaries, you want to ideally be sitting at 4,000 food per minute. That's probably just because of his gold income being so high. And right now, with that gold income being so high, the food isn't. And that means that he's just not going to be able to push out enough units here. This could potentially be a rush now, reverse now from MarineLorD. His units are now swarming the base of Beasty.
Yeah, his army just absolutely got obliterated. He's definitely struggling in his numbers. He's got Palace Guards in queue, but not enough. He's got some Rams, he's got some cannons, but Streltsy are knocking at the front door. And will this be enough for him to hold? Will the pressure on the opposite sides be enough to potentially cause MarineLorD to pull back and deal with it?
Now Beasty still has that Gate Wall Great House protecting his farms, but only a part of that. And now it looks like MarineLorD is just going to be flooding the base from Beasty. All the different angles there where Beasty could be getting resources from, that's where MarineLorD is sending his units. And now, at this point in time, Beasty is going to be the one that's getting idled on his income.
Yeah, it was all of a sudden like Beasty overstepped a little too far, threw away a little too much military, and MarineLorD pouncing on the fact he's got plenty. Look at the resource bank for MarineLorD compared to Beasty. He's got 400 food in the bank right now, Beasty does, compared to 7,000 for MarineLorD.
And now more and more units are going to be flooding into the base of Beasty here. And now we also see a lot of the Rams coming in. Now Rams, they don't work too well against the Great Wall Gatehouse, but against anything else that's there, they do. And this could be the equalizer here in this matchup now.
Yeah, MarineLorD, him losing vills is actually a benefit for him, as now that will be just replaced by more and more military. He's got tons of Rams here in this central point. He's got so many Streltsy as well. This is just to be an all-out siege on the front side of Beasty's base.
Looks like Beasty is now also adding in his own hand cannoneers. Now, Chinese hand cannoneers do have a really, really good range upgrade for them. So they're going to be able to pick off units even at further enough range. DrDabston, they do get an attack speed bonus, and now that keep looks to be going down. There's just too many rams on there. Villager repair is not going to be enough for that.
No, villager repair does not matter when you have 6 rams knocking on all of your buildings. And Imperial Palace gonna get focused after that, deny all of that extra vision, and traders.
All right, looks like Beasty tried to go for the late game plan here. I mean, there's no gold left for him, and now the trader's getting picked off. Then again, hand cannoneers, that's a great mass of them now for Beasty, and MarineLorD is gonna have to respect that, but the mass from MarineLorD is just too great right now. He's just gonna keep pushing in further and further. More reinforcements coming in from the back here from MarineLorD, and this could be the point where he overwhelms the Chinese in the late game with the ruse.
Yeah, this was one of those that it looked so good for Beasty for such a good period of time, but he overstepped a little too far, threw too much away, and MarineLorD is taking that timing and just sending it all in on Beasty's base and not letting him get the timing to stabilize. More horsemen, more Streltsy, and all of these rams taking everything out that they can see.
People saying that China is just unbeatable in the late game. Take a note here from MarineLorD with the ruse showing us how it's done, and absolutely incredibly well played here by MarineLorD, and Beasty calls it GG. We're going to be getting a game number 3.
You gotta give the people what they want, and Beasty, MarineLorD, they knew everyone wanted game number 3, and that is exactly what we get.
That was an absolute masterclass here by MarineLorD. He just played this so well in the late game, managing to beat the Chinese, going for these really strategic decisions with the Spasskaya Tower, getting those stone walls up, denying all of these raids happening, and then finally pushing out himself.
Yeah, I think that Spasskaya Tower was a choice that a lot of us were surprised about. Like, at the point in time in the game, it made so much more sense to drop a high armory, to continue on this siege war, to get that siege advantage. But he knew if the game does extend to that late game siege war that we're talking about, Fire Lancers would shred his economy without stone walls. So Spasskaya was a great decision there.
Yeah, he knew his win condition and he executed it absolutely perfectly, taking this game off of Beasty and giving us a match number 3 here. We can see the military count just being so high for him then in the later stages of the game, and Beasty he tried to absorb all of the gold on the map, but kind of left his food income then a little bit underwhelming, and that actually bought MarineLorD the opportunity to just push in, and there just wasn't enough units here from Beasty out on the field.
Yeah, now that is both times today that we have seen Rus versus Chinese. Rus has gotten the upper hand. So maybe, just maybe, Rus is that civ that everyone needs to be worried about instead of Chinese.
When I win, it's a destruction.
Oh. And just like that, MarineLorD takes that game. All right.
All right, but now we're going to go ahead and check and see what civilization choices for game number 3. And oof, this is a matchup that a lot of people would favor the French on again.
Yeah, it's going to be French versus the HRE here, and on such a good map for it as well. It's going to be regions. Now, we've seen the HRE a couple of times on regions so far. Not every time was it successful, and we're going to be interesting to see how MarineLorD does this. Now, we know MarineLorD as one of the best French player in the game, but recently, at least personally, I've not seen him play them as many times as he used to. I feel like right now it's more like the main civilization of the Spanish brothers rather than MarineLords, but still, MarineLorD is known to be a very, very methodical player. I am very interested to see how he's going to be playing the French here right now, and especially on a map like this where map control is just so important.
Yeah, now, like, with this map pool, this is one of, I would say, the most important maps for map control. You have all of those valuable resources in the central point with the gold and with the stone, but also you can't forget about those other valuable resources in the corners with the food resources on either side, as well as sacred sites.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just going to be a little bit more until we get into our last game here of the day and of this set. It's going to be MarineLorD versus Beasty in their decider match 1-1. Whoever wins this is going to be decided who's going to be the number one when it comes to the standings right now. And that's important because Lucifron is hot on their heels when it comes to that number 1 or number 2 spot right now in the standings. And whoever is in the number 2 or number 1 spot is going to be able to get a straight pass onto the semifinals in the final playoffs. And yeah, it's a really, really desirable spot for any of these players to be in.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you always gonna want to be at the top. You always want to give yourself the easiest path. But to give yourself the easiest path, you got to earn yourself the easiest path. And that is where this game is going to be one of the most important games for either of these players to get that top spot, if not the most important.
Exactly. Now, it's just going to be a little bit longer, but in the meantime, there's one thing that you can do to help out not just EGC TV, but also the entire Age of Empires 4 community by supporting EGC TV. You can spend your Twitch Prime sub right here on this channel right now. You can see we got our Elite Classic community support goal in the bottom right here. It's going to fill up with every little bit of contribution. So it's going to be your subs, it's going to be your it's going to be bit cheers, it's going to be donations, it's going to be gifted subs. Any little bit counts in there. So this is the place to spend your Prime sub or maybe gift some subs, you never know. EGC TV, just the channel for great Age of Empires 4 content when it comes to tournaments, when it comes to organizing tournaments. And yeah, this is the place to spend your Prime sub on, or any maybe gifted subs that you might have left over. Greatly appreciate it if you drop them here.
Yeah, exactly. All the subs are more than welcome, but if you don't have the monetary ability to support following and just catching all of the action here and on EGC TV 2, as the B stream has come around with this tournament and is going to be having a ton of great action on there as well.
Exactly, and lots of subs coming in right now. Thank you guys so much. It really does go a long way. Not just supporting Beasty here, supporting the entire EGC TV scene, supporting everything that's going on, helps us all put on these great tournaments here for Age of Empires 4. And yeah, it's just an all-around great time for Age of Empires 4 with way more to come in the future. Supporting EGC TV does make sure that they're going to be able to continue supporting the Age of Empires 4 scene and bringing you amazing tournaments like this one.
Yeah, and I see a couple questions in here about you living in the Shire. So people are wondering, are you from Lord of the Rings? Are you a character that has lived in the Shire? I'm not calling you a hobbit here. That's the viewers.
Well, it's not quite a Shire. It's a...
Oh, you muted yourself. You muted yourself. Nope. Hello?
There we go. Should be back up and running now. Yeah. Unplugged by accident. But yeah, it's a keep in the making right now behind me. Yeah, should be back now. I apologize about that one.
No worries there. It is a keep in the making, and this is a game that getting a keep up in the center could be a game ender potentially, especially against the HRE, who need that gold for the long term. But if we're getting to the point where keeps are starting to be dropped, French might not be in the most happy situation for themselves.
Yeah, the keep behind me is indeed the keep that you can see in the Age of Empires 4 campaign. So there's a little bit of a documentary on that keep. But yeah, as he said, it's going to be important to contest that gold spawn in the middle on this map, especially when it comes to the later stages of the game. Usually it tends to go the way that whoever is able to take map control over that gold spawn in the game is going to be able to actually win the game. And yeah, it's going to be really important to get control over that. Now, the initial gold should be able to last you enough until Castle Age, depending on what units you make, maybe even Imperial Age. But at the latest then is when you want to push out onto that middle of the map.
Yeah, and we will go ahead and see these spawns in just a second. I know we saw some spawns earlier that maybe not have been the most preferential for the HRE, so let's see if Beasty gets a little bit better one here. And we are in to the final game of today, the game decider between MarineLorD spawning in the north as the French in the blue, and Beasty in the south side as his HRE in the yellow.
Now, early on in these matchups, there's not a ton to talk about. It's the typical opening, 3 villagers on the gold for the HRE. Proud inspiring the villagers on the food. On the opposite side, with MarineLorD, he's just gonna be going for the typical build order with villagers on the sheep, making his house, and then going on to gold. Let's take this moment in time right now to look at the map spawns that we have here so far. So, Beasty, being really lucky with his map spawns here, he has a really far back gold here.
Yeah, it really allows him to be protective on the main resource that is the vulnerable one for the HRE. It's typically that gold that gets focused in on a lot early on, and having it behind your base in this kind of safer location really will put a little bit of a smile on Beasty's face. But if he doesn't drop any walls, Knights are sure to just continually roam around the backside of his base.
Yeah, exactly. He does have a nice Archon Chapel spot here, getting both the gold, the berries, the sheep, and the wood line in it. Now, MarineLorD, he's got a really good spot there as well, with the deer not being too far forward. Now, obviously, deer positioning doesn't matter too much for the French. You're the player that's very likely to be having map control, so deer in the front, deer on the side, doesn't really matter. You're just going to be getting them anyways early on. There's not really any contest there when it comes to map control early on. And yeah, I mean, looking at the map generation as well for Beasty, the stone mine and the wood line are relatively far apart, so probably not gonna go for a second TC here early on, or if he is, then he's gonna have to split his villagers up a little bit. And there we go, is gonna be thinking about where to drop his Archon. It is gonna be right next to the wood line, so actually not gonna be in range of the gold, so maybe this is gonna be a fast second TC after all.
Yeah, I mean, if he had had it or like a tile near to the berries, he would have had his gold and would have had his wood line, but you don't save the 50 wood on the lumber camp ability, so I guess he's just prioritizing that as well as having the wood inspired for a longer period of time as well.
Could always also just make another prelate, right? So it's probably not the end of the world to just build it a little bit closer to that wood line. As you said, it does saving the extra 50 wood right now for the lumber camp, and you do want to save that extra wood if you want to go for a fast TC, especially against the civilization like the French, where you need all the wood that you can for your barracks and then that second TC.
Yeah, exactly. But 4 villagers working hard to try to finish up that school of cavalry as fast as possible to then have a knight in queue. Looks like MarineLorD sending over to the berries, which is actually surprising for me. You know, sending more vills over there. Usually you send one just to get the mill finished to get wheelbarrow all in queue.
Yeah, maybe just sending the second one my mistake, and once you send him out, it's probably not worth sending it back again, just because of the travel time. And he is going to be aging up now with the School of Cavalry, is getting his wheelbarrow upgrade in right now as well. And Beasty also going for the wheelbarrow here.
Yeah, earlier play than expected. It does help those vills dodge away a little bit from those knights when they are trying to raid. That little bit of extra movement speed helps quite a bit, as well as obviously being that eco bonus that it is.
And now it looks like Beasty is going to be moving out to the gold, but at the same time, MarineLorD just finished aging up, and Beasty is going to have to invest into Spearman now. He is not going to have enough wood by the time, or rather stone by the time these knights arrive.
Yeah, no, not at all. And that stone is very far forward. So maybe he would have preferred the stone and gold to be swapped with this build. Sometimes you kind of change your builds up with what you see. And where's the mining camp?
Wait, what's
He's not going second TC.
Oh, it's just for the emplacement. He only wants to get an emplacement up on his gold mine, and yeah, it's gonna be fast castle age here for Beasty.
Yeah, we used to see Divine do this all the time. He used to get enough for 2 outposts. He'd drop 1 on his gold, 1 on his berries, and get arrow slits, but never drop the mining camp for it. He would just long distance mine with like a little bit of inspiration, be good to go for those upgrades. But Beasty, he just says, all I need is 1 outpost. It's good enough with these walls that he is dropping behind it as well. And that's what he thinks is going to secure him up for a nice castle age timing.
And now MarineLorD, knowing that Beasty isn't going for that second TC, instead he is the one going to it, going for that second TC himself. Question is gonna be: is Beasty gonna be able to collect any relics here? Because the French get the early knights, and with the knights, a lot of map control is gonna be going over the way of the French. And now Beasty just gonna be able to hop inside that outpost. Villager's gonna be fine.
Yep, Aeroslits is on its way, so Knight, it's going to be able to circle around this first time, but anything further, it's going to start taking some extra damage here now.
Does take 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shots, but on that, Knight is going to be fine. Second Knight is now going to be coming in as well. At least with that Knight now, MarineLorD is going to be able to deny the berries for quite a while.
Yeah, circles around it, able to cause some idle time on the wood line. Can't get too close to it or else a ton of Town Center fire is going to return on as Beasty was quick and ready to jump inside.
Yeah, does manage that to keep the villagers alive there now, and Horseman and Spearman is going to be the answer now for Beasty. There's no archers yet out on the field for MarineLorD. He's about to place down his second TC on the deer, so he's going to have his food income secured.
Yep. Knight circles back around, takes a little bit of a couple extra shots there. And now the question for MarineLorD is going to be, how does he want to play this matchup against the HRE? He should know that Castle Age is probably the idea. That being said, Beasty actually using some of that gold on to some food eco upgrades, as well as the Spearman upgrade, which is necessary for him.
Yeah, he knows that he's going to have to play this into a farm transition as well. And if you get that food upgrade, it means that with the inspiration together, it's going to give Beasty a lot of food income, which he's going to need. His army composition is going to be very food heavy with both Horsemen and the Spearmen.
Yeah, it's just one of these that the farm transition is definitely going to be necessary. And look at 5 farms already in play under that chapel. And I like how he's even getting them in a little bit earlier than maybe needed, because if he didn't, it would be an even heavier food swap because he'd eat through the sheep that much faster.
Yeah, exactly. Also means that he doesn't have too many villagers clumped up on top of the sheep. Many times we see villagers just not being able to gather because there just aren't enough spots around that sheep. And I think right now we see MarineLorD actually starting to wall in some of the relics here.
Yeah, you can see him all the way in the west side. He snuck out with 1 villager, and he's walling in the ones that are closest to Beasty. First one has been completely walled that we're seeing here now with the last segment about to be built. And knowing MarineLorD, he's probably going to go for the next one on Beasty's side because Beasty still doesn't have vision of it.
Yeah, exactly. And if Beasty transitions into a fast castle age now behind this, he isn't going to have immediate access to the relics. And right now, MarineLorD being on second TC means that the longer this game goes, the further the scaling is going to be in favor of MarineLorD. But right now, looking at the income, Beasty still has a firm lead just because of that inspiration and the early economy upgrades that he managed to grab.
Yeah, all those spears are starting to move across. MarineLorD just now starting to make that transition heavier into the archers, but he needs more than just one range for this many spears, it seems like.
Yeah, but it feels like all of this is just a great big bait. Beasty only investing into 10 units right now, and behind that, he's going to be going up to Castle Age.
Yeah, not too far away from it. Horseman able to take a little bit of damage from the Knights, and Beasty having to fall back away, but relics not going to be an easy thing for him once Castle Age does come around.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as long as Beasty's going to be able to have a lot of units out in the field, it's not going to be too big of an issue for him to break through. MarineLorD is going to be able to stay in Feudal Age for quite a bit longer as the French having access to those knights, such a good unit to have as the game goes on. And now Beasty's going to be going up with the Ragnitz Cathedral, but his food income is now going to be off of sheep, so he's going to have to somehow get access to external resources, maybe make his own knights, but he's not going to have resources for a ton of them.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a significant amount of farms here in his or under his chapel now, but what I'm more scared for him is just going up with Regnants and not really going to be able to secure any of the relics with Regnants.
Yeah, exactly. These walls really helping out MarineLorD so much right now. And now the villager even returning that he sent out earlier.
Yep, Knights starting to move out, Archers starting to move out, and Beasty, he needs to get some of those Knights that you were talking about out. Let's see if that is what he starts queuing up here now once the Regnants has finished.
Yeah, doesn't quite have the gold for it yet. Needs a little bit more in order to start pumping out these Knights, and that's a little bit where it becomes tricky, right? I mean, he just aged up, but he doesn't have a great resource bank, so units are only going to be trickling out a little bit slowly here, first of all, and MarineLorD already having a lot of Knights out on the field means that he always has something to deal with the units that Beasty has.
Yeah, and now you can see that Beasty's trying to go over and burn down these walls. Well, what do you think MarineLorD's going to do? It takes a while to burn down these walls. He moves on over with his knights, and horsemen forced right on away.
Yeah, Horseman can't stay there with these knights on there, and Beasty is now making his own knights. He's got a single man at arms right now and not really doing too much here in this composition. And MarineLorD, he's just keeping on massing more and more of his own knights.
Yeah, I mean, as French, the extended feudal is fine against HRE as long as HRE isn't able to secure too many relics and really start to get too many of these upgrades in. Well, right now, Beasty, he doesn't really have any upgrades in, it feels like.
Yeah, usually this fast Castle Age play by the HRE, it gets supplemented by the relics. But Beasty not having any, and MarineLorD also almost being at a 20 villager lead. This is going to be really hard. Now another relic is going to get walled up here completely, and looks like Beasty, he even sent up some prelates for these relics, and he's going to find them being walled in.
Yeah, just such a struggle point here. Beasty needs something to help his eco to like come back online, something to have this Castle Age pay off. We even see MarineLorD moving out to take the boar because he has the map control. He has all the military out on the field. He's pushing further and further forward, and soon enough we're going to blink and he's going to be able to Castle Age but have all this extra military.
Beasty is now getting the heavy maces upgrade. Doesn't have the veterancy on his man-at-arms yet, or rather the normal upgrade on his man-at-arms. Gets a couple of knights and gets a good raid in here on MarineLorD's side. Doesn't kill any villagers, but it does cause quite a bit of idle time.
Oh no! Oh no! The first relic has been brought out, and will it be secured though? As another knight was circling around. Ooh, Beasty pulls it away.
Yeah, Prelate has to fall back, and even more knights in the queue right now. Just so many knights right now. 14 knights out on the field, 4 more in the queue, and Beasty only has 4 knights.
Prelate. Oh, okay. Just takes a little bit of damage, falls back away. Knight for Beasty correctly diving in on the archers. He desperately needs to thin out that archer mass because that is his only worry with the amount of spears he has. MarineLorD taking the fight. These are Castle Age units on the other side, but he thinks he has enough of a mass to do it. Archer still focusing down the spears, and Knights just being that main damage point, and he does have enough to do it. An easy win, and I only see a few archer bodies on the ground.
A complete wipe of the military here from Beasty, and now he doesn't have many more units left, and MarineLorD, he's almost up to 20 knights. He's now getting the siege engineering upgrade as well. He can soon try to dive the base of Beasty here. A lot of these knights low HP, some actually going down, but it's still going to be able to take the fight here. Chivalry now being researched. Once that comes in, all of these low HP knights are going to be able to heal back up again.
Yeah, this is one of these games now watching it. I'm not sure if MarineLorD's ever going to even try to go up to Castle Age. She might just play feudal for this whole entire game and end it here now.
Yeah, right now a couple of the archers here from MarineLorD reinforcements are potentially going to get picked up by the knights here from Beasty. But right behind them are going to be even more knights, and that's a lot of them. That's a lot of knights.
So many knights just circling around, and not to mention behind this, MarineLorD has moved out to secure up these extra food locations out on the map. Beasty scouts it out, but proactive outpost already going down as well. Oh no.
Oh no, the wood line is gonna have to be evacuated now. Beasty won't be able to scale his farms anymore.
Not only the wood line, his whole entire food eco is gone. This is all of his food. It's his berries, which there's only 1 berry bush left, but all of these farms being idled. MarineLorD has all the other food secure on the map. There's no way Beasty can actually mass up military to defend this.
Man-at-Arms is just gonna be passing by. There's a lot of gold being collected right now by Beasty, and I mean, MarineLorD, he has to know. On the minimap, you do see when one of these gold mines expires, and there's only 1 gold mine that Beasty can have access to right now. If he sends all of his knights on there, I don't think Beasty is gonna be able to continue this game anymore. Right now, Beasty is just making more and more men-at-arms right now, which is the correct play. He does have the heavy maces upgrade on them, so these men-at-arms can actually deal relatively well with the feudal age knights from MarineLorD, and the mass keeps building right now for Beasty. I think MarineLorD either has to go up sometime soon, and he does have the resources for it in the next minute or so. But he's investing more and more into knights. I'm not sure how much longer he can stay. I think it's going to be relatively easy for him to just age up, and then he can quickly get the knight upgrade and be completely fine. I think he needs to do that at some point soon here.
Yeah, not only will he be able to get the knight upgrade, he can start getting arbs out if he wants, but 24 knights is so much for Beasty to deal with right now. He has a decent mass if he just takes the fight head on, as the archer's not really worth too much anymore. Looks like MarineLorD is taking the initial charge in, gets some charge damage in, and then falls back away, as that's where he has chivalry and Beasty does not.
Oh, even more knights coming in. The complete surround potentially from these knights taking the fight. Is this going to be a good fight for MarineLorD though? The men-at-arms with the heavy maces aren't doing too badly here, but the surround now coming in. But the men-at-arms proving to be a really good unit here, and now MarineLorD actually has to fight back. Now he has to think about the next age.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is one of those that taking the fight was not something he wanted to do. If anything, he should have just run past it into Beasty's eco. Now all these villagers out on the berries need to jump on inside. Maybe this is when he takes it and just dives in with charge damage back and forth over and over again.
Gonna have to be played somewhat like this, but Beasty is also causing a lot of idle time on other resources all around for MarineLorD. I think MarineLorD is starting to actually get a little bit on the timer, even though he's the one with additional TCs. The Bass from Beasty is just going to be climbing and climbing. He does have the safe food economy under the Archon, and the men-at-arm count. Normally, men-at-arms aren't able to do that much damage to the Knights, but Beasty, with the heavy maces as the HRE, is going to be able to take really, really good engagements against them.
Ooh, but gets a good amount of extra charge damage in here. Knights going for this around. This might just be the cleanup that MarineLorD needed for this portion of the military. That being said, Beasty has more reinforcements coming on in, and the Knight number is much lower than it was before this.
Exactly. This was actually such a crucial fight for MarineLorD to take, and now Beasty is kind of struggling with reproducing his units. Yep. This could be a big push here. Beasty has a lot of villagers out on stone right now. Could be looking for panic keep in his own base, but the Knights are coming in at a crucial timing here from MarineLorD.
And it's not just a panic keep in his own base, it's just panic in his own base as gold villagers have to run. MarineLorD doing it again, just running right by some villagers that he could have crushed on with this Knight Mass. This time, though, he continues to chase just a little bit. Archers taking down a few more vills with them. He is almost doubling Beasty's eco.
And the age up is going to be coming in now for MarineLorD. As soon as that Royal Institute is going to be coming in, Knights are going to be upgraded to veterancy status, and that's when MarineLorD is going to be able to take these fights, and that's when he's going to be able to push under the TC from Beasty. I'm sure he's just prepping for that right now. Military are in position for that to happen, and now age up comes in. Veterancy is cute. Cannon saddles as well.
Another Vill just gets taken down just for some extra fun. Beasty still trying to secure his very first relic. He brings 5 prelates over here. He brings his men-at-arms. He brings his knights. But look at MarineLorD. He's going to just take the charge before the upgrade comes through because he doesn't care. He knows he has this fight won. His reinforcements are coming forward, and he just pulls back, and he'll just do the same thing yet again.
Yeah, I mean, even if Beasty's able to break through that wall, he's not going to be able to bring the relic back. Now Knights are going to be able to completely destroy the army here from Beasty. All the prelates are going to be going down, and right now Beasty, his military count is looking dangerously slim, and there's just not a lot of that he can do right now in this position. Now MarineLorD also making Arbaletier, has a lot of wood left in the bank for his farm transition, and overall just looking so solid right now. Beasty trying to make something happen, gets a couple of villager kills in the base from MarineLorD, but these Knights are out of position. Oh, he gets in!
The chop through happens. The Knights just dive right on through. The archers just help and support on the backside, but this is right on top of the heart of Beasty's eco. All of these farms is what he needs for food, and Beasty, he throws in the towel. MarineLorD able to secure the series.
There we go, MarineLorD taking the victory 2-1 against Beasty in such an epic series so far. All of these games have been really close all throughout. Beasty, it looked for quite a while like he would be able to take a favorable engagement with the men-at-arms, but then in the end, MarineLorD with the second TC, with the villager scaling, just being too strong here, and there's just so many Knights out there on the field. Beasty just wasn't able to keep up with the French Knights.
What a game, what a series, and what a day overall that we have had for ourselves. I feel like every single series just had so much excitement.
Yeah, we had so many great series here today. It's just been an absolute blast. I mean, looking at the military count here so far, this game as well, it was incredibly close. Now, at one point, Beasty did lose his military, but then later on, he managed to rebuild and actually take some really good trades. And MarineLorD just playing this absolutely solidly, never greeting in too much, only taking the fights that he knows that he can absolutely win, and just playing insanely well in all of these games here so far.